guys, EnderMon here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Venusaur kit in MineMon and looking at its abilities, seeing how to play it, basic tips, stuff like that. I'm going to be going through all of the classes, and this is the first class, and it's like the default class and stuff like that, so it's a good place to start. But yeah, I'll be going through all of the classes in this mini series of sorts. And yeah, so in the future, whenever a new class comes out, there'll be a new video to look at. And if you honestly just want to get into a new class when you're playing MineMon, you can just go to one of these videos and get a basic understanding of it. Of course, you can always come to the practice area, which is where I am right now, and figure out the abilities for yourself. But yeah, a link to the Discord server will be down below, as well as the IP address for this server, for if you want to play as well. And there is a hole right there. Fun. Alright, so first off, you have to basically understand what Venusaur even is. It's a slower class. It gets, I think, yeah, a basic slowness, not any slower than any other class, but it is one of the tankier classes with a HP stat of 40, which that's just like the health boost you get. So as you can see by the rows of hearts, this is the average kind of, I guess, for the amount of HP in MineMon. I'd actually say it's a little bit above average, which is why I said it's a bit tankier, and that's why he's slower. And it's also because of Venusaur's abilities that make it so it is considered a bit tankier. Now, it is classified as a zoner, and by that, I basically am just saying that like you basically keep your opponents where you want them, and we'll go over how to play in a little bit here. But first off, let's just go over the abilities. The melee Vine Whip is 6, which is actually above average, so it's important to know that if you do get into a position where you need to go into a melee fight, you can with Venusaur, because you do have pretty good melee, and Vine Whip is not a move that you should ignore, because a lot of the times when you're out of abilities, you might just want to use Vine Whip and then call it a day. And yes, even though this is in 1.12.2, melee damage is you are allowed to spam click for MineMon in particular. Now, the first ability is Razor Leaf, and if we look at its stats, it says it fires a burst of leaves, damage 2 per leaf, and recharge time is 4 seconds. And when you click it, this is what it does. You don't have to hold it down or spam click it or whatever, it just does it once, and it recharges pretty fast. What's recharge again? Yeah, 4 seconds. So you can do this very often, and this is kind of like the bread and butter of Venusaur, I'd guess. As a zoner, when you're keeping your opponent away, trying to regen a little bit of health, or just, I don't know, like baiting your opponent to go a different direction, it has a lot of spread, and it does good damage. It's probably one of the best projectiles in MineMon, in my opinion. And for a free class, which is, I guess I should have mentioned at the beginning, Venusaur is a free class. So for a free class, it's really good to have an ability like this. It's good for beginners, because you can kind of space your opponents out. Let's get a dummy in here so I can demonstrate. Where is this guy? Hello, test dummy. But yeah, as you can see, it gives a lot of knockback as well, and he's dying because of the daylight. That's fun. But you can just keep your opponent at bay, and it's pretty good. The next ability, if we look at it, is Poison Powder, which allows you to poison your foes. It has a recharge time of 15 seconds. It poisons them for 10 seconds. And the explosion delay and radius is basically for this. Let me show you when you use Poison Powder. It takes a minute, and then it will poison the enemies. Of course, it didn't poison our test dummy over here because he's a zombie. And actually, what the heck did I just get hit by? I think I got hit by my own Razor Leaf there. But actually, you cannot poison yourself, I believe. We'll test that in a second. But this is good. When you're keeping your opponents away with Razor Leaf, you can always just throw down a Poison Powder and then poison them even more, and then just keep them back. And there we go. Monster Hunter is apparently an achievement I've never gotten here. Don't know how that happened. The third ability is Power Whip, and this is when the opponent gets a bit closer to you, and it has a 1 block range, super high damage, 20 damage, which is 10 hearts, not including armor, like how much armor protects and stuff like that. And its recharge time is 12 seconds, so it does take a lot longer to recharge, but I did not mean to spawn that many. But it does have a lot of damage behind it. So if you're close, you can always use Power Whip, and it can get kills a lot of the time, as it does massive damage. And remember, you can always keep your opponents back, poison them up, and that's always good. The final ability is Petal Dance, and similar to how Petal Dance works in the actual games, it will send out 3 bursts of petals and then confuse you at the end of it. So if we look at the stats, it takes 20 seconds to recharge, so this is your most powerful ability that you're going to be using at the best times you can find, because if you miss it, you're going to be waiting for a long time. And it confuses yourself for 15 seconds as well, so it does have a bit of a penalty, and confusion is just nausea, which you'll see in a second when I use it. But it does 6 damage per petal. This attack has the most potential out of pretty much any attack in MineMon. Like, if we go up to these test dummies, they're chasing us. If you use it at the right time. Did you just see that? It just killed both of them, like, instantly. These test dummies have 100 HP. Let that sink in as our nausea is killing us. It's great. So, actually, they might only have 50 HP. I think it's 100 HP, though. Not sure about that one. But these petals do so much damage. Now, it's important to realize that, look at this ability here. It's not exactly that hard to run away from it. So you kind of use it when opponents, oh wow, see how much damage it did to me? You kind of use it when opponents are running into you. You got to know when to play it properly, and that's kind of the key with Petal Dance. And it is important to know, another thing, that if you swap to another ability before the 3 petal bursts go off, it will stop the ability. By that, let me show you right now. 1, and then I switched. You have to wait for all 3 to go off, or else you won't get the full effect of the ability. Alright, so I kind of touched on the basic tips a little bit as I was going through the abilities, but when you're playing Venusaur, really you want to be keeping your opponent back. You don't want to get close too often, because you have abilities such as Poison Powder and Razor Leaf that are really, really good. Probably closer to mid-range, honestly, for Razor Leaf. Like, when someone's, like, just a little bit in front of you, you can just push them back, you can poison them up, keep them taking damage. If they get a little bit too close, you can always use a Power Whip, and of course, Petal Dance when you think the opportunity is right. Let me demonstrate that again. Let's not spawn a swarm, let's just spawn one this time. But yeah, if they get too close, Test Dummy over here, we can, like, Power Whip him, or we can use Petal Dance and then absolutely just obliterate him. And yeah, Venusaur definitely has most potential, probably, or one of the most potential classes out of anything in MineMon. Definitely can be a very good class if you continue to practice with it. Not too many people use it, as they prefer other classes, but as a free kit, this is definitely one of the better ones, and I enjoy playing Venusaur from time to time. Alrighty, well that's going to wrap it up for the Venusaur guide. Remember to keep your opponents at bay with Razor Leaf and Poison Powder, and if they get too close, you have these 2 abilities, Power Whip and Petal Dance, to take care of the problem, and don't forget to use your melee. That's a very important thing, honestly, with all classes of MineMon, but this class especially. Sometimes you'll want to be just using Razor Leaf a bunch, but you forget that your melee does 6 damage, so it's very good. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the guide. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, don't forget to drop that like, and please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.